Hi everyone. Sorry, I'm just a few minutes late. I hope everyone has a wonderful day. Welcome to today's live stream. I'm going to do something very casual. I'm just coming on here and I'm going to do a warm up with you together. So, it's really all about creating the perfect warm up, which is not going to be the same for everyone. And also, even for you, it's not going to be the same every single day. So, we're going to talk about a lot, but we're just going to do also. I have my piano right here. So we're going to use the piano. So the most important thing is like you have to listen to your body, listen to your voice. And I'm going to look at the comments here whenever I see them, and I'm going to try to answer your questions. We're going to engineer the perfect vocal warm-up. So I'm going to use me as a case study, and then you can ask me anything about your voice, which I don't hear it, but if you tell me kind of like some things about your voice, I might be able to answer this. Okay, here's the scenario. It is 2:05 p.m. I'm here in Germany, so it's 2:05 p.m. I had lunch about an hour ago. I have a coffee here, have drunk like one sip of it. And before that today, I had almost an entire cup of, like this tall cup of fresh ginger tea, and also another cup of herbal tea and some water with a ginger shot in. It's almost empty also. So kind of like that's where I am. My body is my instrument. So it's really kind of important to kind of have an assessment. Where am I today in the day? I've been sitting a lot. I've been working. So I have not really moved my body too much, which also means my voice is not very well warmed up. I also have not talked a lot. I just made a video before I came on, which was the reason for me being a few minutes late. I kind of just like, oops, already. I missed it. I was like all in making the other video. But that's really important to know. So I'm kind of starting pretty much from scratch when it comes to my voice today. And lately I've been a little, I don't know, maybe it's the weather, it's winter, it's very cold. I've been a little, I don't know, my voice feels like it's a little dark. And it takes longer to warm up. I can sing just fine, but my speaking voice, it's almost like I don't know what's going on. It's almost like it's more tense or something, or maybe it's almost like it's tired, which probably now thinking of it, it's because I have been kind of tired. My twins, they slept through the night just fine. And then this past week, Emil, my twin boy, he's been waking up like 3 times at night, and he wakes up and he's like, Mom, Mama, Mama. And I'm like, I have to hold him for a few minutes and then I lay him back down. But that happens 3 times. And then once Lola wakes me up. So it's like 4 times I wake up, which makes me tired. But that's where I am. So I'm going to start with some feel-good exercises. I'm going to start in my middle range, which for me, I'm going to start in kind of my middle to low chest voice range, because that is my speaking range. It's a good clue. It's like, speaking, hello. So maybe I'll start around, I'm going to do this one, right? E. Y. Actually, let me not do any vibrato on the first pitches, maybe just on the last one. Because what I feel like today, I have to feel like I'm stabilizing my voice a little. It's not as stable, especially on the low end, because I don't use my support as much, which is totally normal on the low end. Hi, Stephanie. It's great to have you here. So let me try to do straight tones on the 2 top pitches and focus on a steady airflow. I feel like that lower pitch, because it is low in my voice. Hi, Heather. Because it is low in my voice, it's a little, I want to get it cleaner. So let me do that one more time. Preparation is everything. Take a nice deep breath. That was a little better. So low pitches are kind of hard for me, especially. It's like knowing that, I know that I have to work on stabilizing the bottom a bit to where, watching out that I don't get too dark, that I don't push too much, that I stay nice and light. Okay, let me try to go one more down. My. It's really hard. So let me actually try to go on the low end here. Why are my comments not scrolling automatically? Hi, MZ Cooks from Ghana. Awesome. Barry from Australia. Welcome. Wow, I have a few people here that I think I have not seen on the lives. Okay, let's go down here. This goes from D4 down to G3, which for me, it's getting quite low, but I'm working on stabilizing that bottom. Again, I'm not starting with anything intense. I'm starting with something that's actually just to sing the pitch itself. It's quite easy, but there's always something to work on. So I'm taking that pressure off my voice, but I'm working on the stabilizing of the breath and the beauty, the intonation, accuracy there, and a nice open vowel that resonates even down there. So you can, if you want to do this along with me, if it is in the low part of your voice, everyone has a different voice type here. So it's like, It's really hard on the low end. Let me do one more. Oh, that second one was not good. It was unstable. It's unbelievable how hard that could be, just the low end. It's like crazy, right? We want it to be perfect as possible. I mean, it's easy, but doing the easy stuff is deceivingly, it's not really that easy. It's deceivingly simple. It sounds like it. I want to get on the pitch right away. I don't want to dig in or go from below. This is really hard. Yeah, the important thing is I have to get even softer. If I push too hard on that low end, I can't control the stability of the tone. Let me try to go down one more. It's very, very careful. Oh, that was not good. Again, focusing on intonation here and stability. Goodness. Thinking about should I take a nice deep breath, start all the way from the top of my breath? Should I start more in the middle? It's a long phrase. It takes a bit of air. Let me see. I don't actually need that much air. So it is, in this case, better to start from the middle of my breath, because when I'm starting from the top of my breath, my diaphragm is much harder at work. It's like to hold all that air in, to not let it out, which in this case, I don't need a lot of air. I also don't need pressure at all because it's so low on my range. So it's like, I need to start not on the top of my range here. So let me try one more if I can do this. You learn so much just by taking apart everything. Okay. That was better. It really takes a lot of focus, calmness, and just slowing down for this. Okay, I'll try one more. Trying to get that diaphragm relax, because in this case, it just does not need much pressure at all. It's very, very, as soon as you go, a little push, it's going to be unstable. It's going to be, we want that air breath, that airflow to be so stable, but no pressure at all. So different from when it's going to go high. Okay, I talked, so let me relax that diaphragm first. I'm just going to try one more for my own sake. Can I do one more? C3 is like pushing it for me. Oh, like basically that is the very limit. Okay. This is really good when you have like, when you feel like, because I've been kind of feels tense, hanging around on that low end and really focusing on smoothness, evenness, and, you know, not pushing anything, but really about relaxing first. I'm using my diaphragm so much more right now when I'm speaking to you than when I was just doing the low pitches. That low end on my voice, in my voice, if I use too much diaphragm and too much core engagement, it's going to be all wobbly. So it's better to be like middle to bottom part of the breath. And, you know, that's a good point, Heather. Patience is so important. What I see a lot in my students is that they rush into everything. They rush into it. They don't prepare. You want to think about it. When something isn't working really perfectly, you want to slow it down. You want to think about it. You want to be very mindful about it and intentional. And you can't when you rush into it. You want to prepare. You want to think about what you're going to do first. And also your body. It's almost like, okay, you want to maybe throw a dart. You're not just gonna, okay, I'm throwing the dart. You want to look first. You want to aim. And then you're like, 1, 2, 3. And now I'm throwing the dart. It's kind of like this. You know, you don't want to just. All right. I feel like now my voice is, you know, some vibrations going on. Now I want to move more maybe toward the middle of my chest voice. And I want to liken it to my speaking voice. So always low intensity first and then slowly increase intensity. And listen to your body's signals. When you hear on those very light lower pitches that there is phlegm or fry happening a lot, like you're hoarse, that's your body's sign, right? Your signal. You're getting a signal of where you're at. Maybe you need to linger there more. Maybe drink something. Oh, I really want to drink, but okay. Now I'm gonna go to you. I lost my pedal. That's okay. Let me tell you why I'm doing this. See how I'm not spreading my cheeks? I'm trying to keep the oo and the e in the same place. I'm not I'm not darkening the oo and brightening the e excessively. So that happens a lot. You know, you don't want to darken the oo and you don't want to narrow the e too much. You want to keep them nice and forward and round and, you know, space to where there's resonance. So I want to keep the back of my throat nice and open, and I'm focusing on having good resonance, having bright overtones while smoothly transitioning from pitch to pitch. So very legato. See, the lips do most of the work. Everything else pretty much stays in place. Breath. Always prepare. Take that breath. Take your time. It's like, don't rush into anything. Oh, thank you. I'm his apple. You're excited about finding my channel. Oh, awesome. I'm excited to have you. see how like a little nuance will make a big change in sound. Now, as I go higher and higher, I might have to open even just a bit more. Okay, notice how now I'm leaning into more intensity. So far I had very loose vocal cord closure because it didn't need to have that intensity. It wasn't breathy per se, but just, kind of relaxed vocal cords. Now, as I'm approaching the higher end, I do want to foster better vocal cord closure as I go up because I want to get into the more intense part of my voice. I don't want to do it in a breathy way. And for that to happen, I need good vocal cord closure so I can sustain those higher pitches, have control over them, and not slip into a break or something like an involuntary flip in the voice. Let's do one more. See how we're bridging now the gap between, like I did that low end and I'm taking what I did on the low end and now slowly, gradually transitioning into the higher part of my voice. I'm taking time. I'm being very intentional. I'm trying to be as accurate as I possibly can. You can do a lot of very important stuff when you warm up when it comes to paying attention to accuracy, even pitch accuracy, to play different scales. These are all scales. Like these are all based on scales, major scales in this case that I'm using mostly. Really only major scales today. But it's really important to have better pitch accuracy, to just very much pay attention to how scales are always part of everything. Now it's going to get a little more intense when it comes to vocal cord closure as I go up. I have massaged my vocal cords. Now they're ready to do a little more work. I just wanted to kind of halt on that top pitch, broaden it, and put a vibrato on there just to kind of test out where does it sit. Is it in a nice resonant place? And then kind of bathe in it a little bit. Then that was not as round as I wanted it to be on the top. Now, my own perception of it was that the vibrato was a little exaggerated. It was not as round and even as it could have been on the top. So that top pitch was not in the sweet spot. It was not centered, and the core was not like in this, like grounded. So it was a little pushy. Awesome. Mr. Is it Chiquina? Your voice is coming out. That is awesome. So let me do that one more time. It's on an ooh, so I think I need to open that ooh up a little more toward the top. I felt that was better. It was more connected to what was before and what came after. Yeah, it felt pretty good. Definitely need to open up more now toward the top to have nice resonance and to make it more singable. Let's do it one more time. Now I'm going all the way. I'm starting now. This is the F4 all the way up to C5 for those who want to know. See how that one versus you. See how much I need more opening toward the top. You. That would not be singable if I stay that close. Okay, now I went to C5, which is okay for the beginning now for my chest voice. For me personally, that is not the very top end of my chest voice. So I'm going now kind of toward the top, but not to the limit. I'm going to where it still kind of feels I need good vocal cord closure, but it's not the most intense that I need. I don't have to push as much. Oh, okay, awesome. Vibrato is really an indicator of all the things that are happening. Your support, your resonance, and if it's all centered and controlled. Okay, now let me see. What can I do now? I actually, because I'm a classical soprano, I always like to go back and forth between more classical singing. Ciao dall'Italia. Awesome to have you. So I'm going to go into my classical voice now. It's fast, but going an ascending scale, to me, that's pretty easy. So it's a little more agile, but it's more, when you go on the descending scale downward, it's almost like it feels like, you're relaxing into that bottom pitch. Your diaphragm kind of goes, a little bit like that. I feel like it's like you're exhaling, literally. Of course, you are exhaling as you're singing, but it's like, as I go down. Did I do a do? Ooh, an E. Let's do an E. And I exhale at the end of the exercise. I give myself that time before I inhale again. Exhale. Exhale. I'm going to go down kind of high now. Go down high? What am I saying? I'm going to go up kind of high. Now, I don't want to be shrill, of course. So I need to open that E up more. And I'm staying on the E on purpose because it's very forward and very much into the mask. Although literally I'm going to have to open like toward the top. It's going to be almost an A anyway, but I'm thinking E. Now, if I did an ah, watch how my tongue goes different. So it's just the progression. The higher I go, the more everything kind of morphs into an ah. But that feels kind of good now. For me, it's easy to go up there, and that's why I'm doing it at this time of my workout. For me, going into my high head voice with ease and lightness, it does help my warm-up process a lot. So for you, that means you ask yourself, what feels easy that is not that is a bit more demanding, but what is the easy part of your voice? Maybe it's your chest voice. Maybe it's not as high, but it's not about how high it is. It's not how loud it could be. That is not what it's about. It's where could it be a little more intense and still have beauty and where it feels good, right? When it feels good, it usually sounds good. And when it sounds good, it usually should feel good. So, okay. So now let me go more intense now, okay? Hold on. I'm just going to crawl under my table and fetch my pedal. It escaped me. Come on. Okay. It's kind of hard to do a proper warm-up when I'm actually talking all the time, because normally I don't. Okay. Let's do some. Mia, 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 mia. Mia, 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 mia. So both registers. Mia, 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 mia. It's really hard. Mia, 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 mia. So what I'm trying to do is like I'm singing through that. It's very hard. There's a nasal sound in there when it gets high. The nasal sound and then the E sound. So mia, mia, mia. It's really hard. What I'm trying to aim for here is to challenge myself by, number one, keeping the placement and singing through that by keeping in a nice tall space like in here and in the back of my throat and that pharyngeal space. I'm, keep it all in the same place. So it's like, I'm going to slow it down. Mia, 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 mia. So I'm trying to sing through it. Normally what happens, so the and the E, they want to be narrow, but I'm trying to enclose a space so that, because in classical singing, that's so important, actually also in non-classical singing, to kind of sing through even all the voiced consonants and the nasal sounds and keep them open, although they're not open. What I mean by that is you're enclosing a space with your lips, but you are not cutting off the sound by closing everything that's on the inside. Your tongue, between your tongue and your hard palate on the top, there is a space. Let's try it. Let me try to get this higher. It's very hard, but like mia, 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 mia. Oh, that was too much jaw just now. I need to be careful to not. Mia, 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 I mean, like, how far can I push it and still do an E? It's like, but it's a good exercise for my soprano voice to challenge myself to keep the resonance forward at all times. And you have to ask yourself, what is your voice type? What is your strength? Where does your voice want to live? So that doesn't mean you don't want to challenge yourself, but if you are a belter, then you want to tweak that as much as possible. If you're someone who's more in the like, I don't know, what if you have a darker, heavier voice? Then you want to make sure you have that sounding the best and dwell on that a bit more. So I always do this in my warm-ups. And definitely at this point, you definitely want to do something where you have to incorporate register changes, which I just did. Let me do that now more in a pop. Let's go. My. Let's do that. So I'm trying to be more in a pop voice and not too like classical. So my. That top one was kind of not, it was too nasal. See how when I'm doing an M, I'm basically almost singing an ah, but I'm closing my lips around that ah. So that's what I'm doing if I slowed it down. My. And that's what I mean by singing through that nasal sound. You don't want to go my. You want to keep the sound. What you don't want to go is like think that you're only singing on the vowel. You also sing on that voiced consonant. In this case, it's a nasal sound and an M. My. So that there's a lot of options that I could have here. It's like my. More twangy. My. With a higher larynx, or my. A little lower larynx. My. I don't want to get too dark for my voice type because that doesn't sound beautiful. My. So what I'm focusing on for my voice is that, because that is an octave, like the low pitch and the high pitch, they're an octave. So the high pitch, an octave is a lot of range in the human voice. So it's like, my, such a different approach than my. See, if I take it apart and slow it down and I only sang, like, what if I slowed it down and tried to make every pitch as beautiful as possible? The low pitch would have to take such a different approach than the high pitch. Like, my. See, that's quite low already in my range. My. So such a different approach, but now I'm speeding it up, but I adjust that larynx position to where I don't get stuck. And there's like, my. That is like the tendency all the time. My. We want to get stuck in that, but I don't want to get stuck in this because it doesn't sound good and it also strains me. So like, my. So as I'm going down each time, trying to relax that larynx and try to not get dark. Try to not get dark, but kind of, keep that brightness in there. My natural sound. My. Oh, that's hard. My. I'm gonna have to start mixing more here. My. I'm gonna have to go start in the head voice on the top pitch. My. That's hard. My. So here's what happens as you approach the top, whatever is possible, top of your chest voice range, you're gonna have to start tilting into your head voice. And now, when I sing pop, when I go my, it's not the same as my. It's that space, that vertical space in the back, you can do many things with it. In order to not sound like an opera singer, I want to keep that larynx a lot more relaxed than I'm doing it for classical singing, so that it doesn't sound too. My. Good exercise actually for the passaggio and the mix and transition. Oh my goodness, I'm too hot. I'm hot right now. It's like the heater is like, I don't know. It's right in front of me and I'm kind of hot. Okay. I mean, that's basically, I'm pretty warmed up now. I could do some fast stuff. Yeah. Because for me, that is important. I'm a coloratura soprano, actually, but I'm doing it pop right now. Yeah. Where am I? Yeah. It's not easy. Okay, I have to that's hard. Let's see if I can do that in my pop voice. Let's try. That's hard. I'm gonna have to transition into my head voice now. Ooh. Let me try on an ooh. Yeah, it's easier now. I had to kind of find my space there. I have to stay lighter. If I get too heavy, I can't be agile anymore. Oh. So. I have to really activate my diaphragm now. Remember that first exercise where I focused all on relax the diaphragm, no pressure. It's the opposite now. Now I need to focus on, we're really working hard here. Where was I? the piano. Oh, that is hard. If anyone is listening and they're thinking someone's hurt, that is really funny. Someone commented that's like, my husband thinks I'm hurt or something's wrong with me. This is really funny. And singing, that is just the way it is. There is no other way to actually practice singing other than just singing. You can't really get around the fact that you're going to have to sing out loud and high if you want to learn how to sing loud and high. There's no way around it. You're going to have to find a place where you can do it. There are a lot of things you can do that are not loud and high and that don't sound obnoxious. But I mean, if you actually want to sprint, you're going to have to sprint. And if you actually want to sing loud and high, you can actually do it. You can't avoid it. So yes, Happy New Year to you also. Now I have a glare from the sun, as you can see, like it's a lot of sunshine today. So I'm going to take some questions now because I want to help you understand. Like if you have any questions about warming up your voice, this is the time to ask because I have like a few minutes and then I need like maybe 9 more minutes and then I have to wrap it up because I have another appointment coming up. Oh, yes, of course. Frank, like, every voice type and even voice types will be similar. So even a different individual, someone who has a different, similar voice type to mine, will do a lot of similar things. But then again, even among the same voice type, among all the singers with the same voice type, there will be differences that are individual. And you have a unique voice. Your voice is absolutely unique. No one sounds exactly like you. And you don't sound like anyone else. And no one sounds like you. This will be very helpful. Yes. Awesome. And by the way, I'm just going to shameless plug here. If you wanted to get more in depth, like inside of my online singing school, which you can join, it's a monthly subscription. You can check it out. There's no risk if you sign up for a month and you decide you don't like it. You can always cancel, but I know that you're going to love it. I have tons of exercises in there. Basically you get access to not just my vocal warm-ups vault, which is a collection of all kinds of different exercises and warm-up routines for different scenarios. You're not only going to get the entire library of my Back to Basics signature course, which is 70 plus videos with explanations of how the vocal tract works, plus practical applications and exercises. You're not only going to get that, you're going to also get access to how to sing opera, the course, which all of those courses that you get access to alone, you would pay thousands if you bought all of them individually. But as a member of the online singing school, you have access to each one of them as long as you are a member. But you also get to join our community. We have a Facebook group that is the unofficial community, but there's also an official community which lives on like inside of the course. And there's a community and you can talk to everyone and you can have every single month, we do a group coaching with me where I can actually see you on video, not just read your comments, and you can get coached by me on the air if you would like that. And so, yes, it is masteryourvoice.tv/singing school. Check it out if you want to dive deeper and if you want to do this together. That'd be fun. Okay. Yes, you can't always be perfect. That's exactly right. And what I learned is like the more you can fail, the faster you progress. If you try to fail more times than everyone else, you will make more progress than everyone else. Because if you always play it safe, there's no lessons to learn because you always keep repeating the same thing that you already know how to do. So you want to always push yourself to do the things that you are not perfect at. That doesn't mean you do it in a sloppy way. Your goal is always to improve and to have control and to do it in a very controlled way and do it well. But no, we don't always want to be perfect, because if we always were, that means we would not grow, because you never challenge yourself to beyond what you know how to do. Hey, CJ, it's good to have you. Yes, and CJ, she's here now. CJ Sings. She is our accountability coach also inside of the Online Singing School. So you will also see her. She also leads a monthly meeting, and you can join her for, being held accountable and also like motivation and goal setting and all that good stuff. Yes. Is it right to start singing immediately after morning warm-ups? Yeah. If you have done a good warm-up, then you're ready to do anything you want to do with your voice. It's like an athlete, it's like in the morning, it might take a bit longer to get to that nice warmed up state. So if you want to hit the gym early in the morning, maybe it takes a little longer to be able to stretch nicely than it would in the afternoon, but you definitely can. I've sung early in the morning many times. I've had rehearsal at 9 a.m. or even earlier, or lessons at 8 a.m. I've had that. And if I warm up before, no problem at all. When I sing in my head voice, I strain so bad. Do you know how to sing in head voice without strain? I have videos about that. The most important thing is, number one, to open up, to give it space. So if you find yourself like that, and when you sing an open eye, you can check it for yourself. This is the test right here. Stand in front of a mirror. Try to sing high head voice on an ah vowel. If you see this, meaning you see like this big open hole that leads all the way back into your throat, you're doing really great. If you don't see that, there's room for improvement. That's one of the major things, really, that I see. Bye-bye, CJ. Okay. How do you help from pushing too much when you sing and maintain a good voice? Well, when something feels like it's not happening with ease, and there's a difference between this working hard and this working hard. Now, it is physical work to sing, but the sound is usually a reflection of what it feels like, and vice versa. So if it feels strained, then something isn't right. It might be too high in your voice. It might be too intense. Your muscles may not be trained yet to go there. So maybe take a step back. And I always say, do the simple things really well before you advance to the more advanced stuff, not to the more complicated stuff. You want to do, I just dwelled on that very low pitch. It wasn't exciting in the beginning what I did, like going to the very bottom and dwelling on that. But doing that sets me up for success when I continue on and I do the more difficult, more demanding things. If I already have some level of inaccuracy and failure on the easy or seemingly easy on the simple things, that is only going to be amplified when I take my voice higher and louder and faster and all the things that just have more demands on the body. So yeah, you want to do the simple things really well before you go on. I think it's kind of really ridiculous to want to try to do very very ad-libs if you can't even sing on pitch, because it makes no sense. So then you should go back and I'm not talking to you. I don't know. I haven't heard any of your voices other than CJ, of course. But you want to make sure you have basic music principles in place. Like singing the right pitch is so important because all the ad-libs, they're going to sound horrible and sloppy if you have really bad intonation. And it sounds very bad because it gives that picture, it tells someone, like it's almost like it sounds like you're trying too hard. And that's not good. I'm a gospel singer, but I kind of got bored with my voice. I forgot how much I loved all music because I closed myself off. I'm so ignited right now. Awesome. You know, the most important thing is actually when you start discovering something, and there's always something new to discover about your voice every single day. And it's exciting. And, not getting into this place of just being black and white. And it's like, oh, this sounds good today. Or, oh, this doesn't sound good. Dive deeper. It's like, okay, what is the sound I don't like or what doesn't feel good? And like I always assessed it. I was like, okay, that sounded, I needed to sing more through it. It was needed to be more connected. It wasn't resonant. Maybe it was too dark, and that's why it didn't sound and feel good. Maybe the pitch wasn't stable. Maybe my vibrato felt off, and which was an indicator for something. Maybe my breath support not being stable and evened out. So get on that level of just digging deeper and not just on the surface. Oh, sounds good, or doesn't sound good. It's more than that because there's always a cause. It's like, it's like medicine. You don't want to just treat the symptoms. You want to dig deep and it's like, what is the cause of all this? What is the root cause? And you want to treat the root cause of it all because then you're going to find the cure for sure. Alrighty, I have to wrap it up now because I have another appointment. Thank you so much for hanging out. Again, check out my online singing school at masteryourvoice.tv/singing school. And I'm going to do more live trainings. In 2 weeks from now, I have a session called How to Sing Mozart. So all of you who are interested in classical singing, classical period singing, like the actual classical period of all classical music, is kind of the foundation that we base everything on, even all the pop singing. So it might benefit you too, even if you don't want to sing classically, because a lot of principles that I'm going to teach when it gets, about Mozart, that's going to apply to all Western music and beyond probably too. I'm not an expert at anything that is not inside a Western music system. I've heard some, but the voice is the same for everyone. All right. Thank you for hanging out. I appreciate you all. Come back next time and make sure you are subscribed because then you're going to see the next live session that's going to come up. Bye-bye.